You are now watching the No Cell Roundtable. Here are your hosts, Joe Monroe and Chris Sack.
Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Thank God it's the weekend. Unfortunately, we're going to be talking about probably one of the biggest... I got to be nice. I'm sorry. Probably... we're going to talk about this guy. Yeah.
Brother Jack, dude. Postomania.
Whose idea? Was it yours, CZ?
Don't look at me. Or look at me. I don't know. I'm just mad because you have a fake wizard in the room, and he put a curse on me today, and I tripped over my weights and damn near killed myself. Rob?
No. Joe told me that if I went to Wizarding School, I could be the co-host. So I went to Wizarding School, the good one in Whitehall, not the bad transphobic one in Britain. I went to a real Wizarding School to become a wizard, so I could be the co-host because I didn't think you were coming back. That's what I was told.
Because you make him not come back. Jeez.
Yeah, you're trying to sabotage me. Payback's a bitch, man. It's coming for you.
All right, before we have to go live on the air, let's welcome our guest again. Rusty, welcome back. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see y'all. And as always, Rusty, are you really putting your diabetic sock swap show?
No, I'm just putting on socks.
Hey, all right. May have to pull out a Rutgers moment. And as always, my good friend, King of the 313, Mike D. What's going on, Mike?
What up, though? What's going on, man?
Good. And our good friend from Canada, Sam. What's up, brother?
What's happening, guys?
All right. So, gentlemen, tonight we're going to try our best ever so nicely. Oh, how about threw up while saying that? Talk about Hogan.
Ichiban, number one.
Oh, come on.
He ain't that bad. Come on.
You need to take that hat off, Rob, or I'm going to blow it off with my wizard power.
All right, no fight.
I dare you to.
Bam!
Do it. Oh, God. Brother.
Did you take Mark's hair?
There, I guessed Hogan hair on him.
Oh, no.
I'm even bolder, brother. What'd you do to me? I was keeping that puffball on top to hide it all. Now, if I want to ever in a video game, I'm going to have like a bandana for like the next 20 years.
I told you I was going to pay back.
Let me get my box of gimmicks and hide the bald spot now. And
speaking of, isn't that the most annoying thing about video games with Hogan?
We're already off the rails.
Eight ball spots in nowadays.
What is it, Russ?
Ball spots are in nowadays.
But
It's
yeah,
a fashion statement.
it's an active ingredient for Ruskers, people. Everybody, make sure you get your local Ruskers. Coming so soon. Invented by Rusty. If you get sick while eating a candy bar, you probably ate a Ruskers. Anyways, so let's start off. Hogan actually wrestled when he first started. Even though if you talk to anyone from the AWA, he basically cried every time he couldn't get anything right. But so Hogan's starting out, normal white meat baby face. The incredible Hulk is what he came out. I take that back. Let me go back. Sterling Gold. Can we talk about that for a minute? That gimmick. Sterling Golden. Sorry. I mean, I think that right there would with Freddie Blassie by his side. I like that character a lot better than Hulk Hogan.
Especially with the chest hair when he had like the tornado chest hair. That was pretty sweet.
Giggity. Anyways, I think I broke CZ.
You got the giggity on the show, man. What the hell?
We started at the bottom, and we've only gotten worse from there somehow.
Well, we're not causing them, so we're not at the complete bottom. We're good.
He's right.
But Sterling Golden was his first gimmick. We've seen him in the WWF. Then he went on to be the Incredible Hulk. And then eventually Hulk Hogan. And we go with the white meat baby face run. Rusty, you were alive since dinosaurs roamed the earth. Tell us, what was your first initial thought whenever you first seen Hogan come on the scene in the 80s?
So when I first saw Hogan come on the scene, I ain't gonna lie, it was during the Rocky movies. And then that's when I kind of, he's a wrestler. And then I started watching it. I didn't think he wrestled all that great. Just punch, leg drop, done.
Don't forget the boot.
And then, okay, the pointing thing, I thought that was stupid. But then you also had,
Hello.
he's the first one to body slam Andre, which he wasn't.
Right.
And that's always threw me for a curve. Why are you gonna tout somebody? First guy to slam Andre. He wasn't the first guy.
Well, we'll get into slamming Andre in just a moment.
Yeah. So, but I just didn't like him at first.
Yeah. But the rest at first, the rest of it. Well, you could probably go back and watch old tape. What was y'all's first thought when the Hulkster started having that babyface run, as we all know, led into the golden years of professional wrestling?
I mean, I'll jump in. I mean, I really I didn't get to see Hogan till actually probably shortly after WrestleMania 4. So I would have missed out on all his first, almost the entirety of his first championship run.
Yes,
I am not not of Rusty's generation, but yeah, well, I bought it all
sorry,
but as a whole, I totally bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. I mean, but I was the target demographic at the time for the WWF. I was all in as a 6-year-old, 5-year-old, saying my prayers, taking my vitamins. Even took the Hulk Hogan vitamins, which were probably the worst vitamins ever.
They weren't.
They weren't good. Spoiler alert, a lot of Hulk things. That was energy drink. Energy drink was actually arguably the best energy drink I'd ever had. But that we can talk about that later after the Hogan Grill brother. But yeah, no, I bought into it. I came into at the height of Hulkamania and bought into it hook, line, and sinker. I couldn't wait to see who he was going to beat up next, when he was going to pop up on my television to scream his nonsense about the 24-inch pythons, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, brother Jack Dude.
Jack Dude, Jesus.
What year did he actually start saying that?
His second run in WWF.
For myself, I'm like Rusty. I mean, I've been lucky enough to watch wrestling. Mind you, I was 8 years old when I discovered Hulk Hogan. But I got to see him in real time right through to what we have today. Pardon me, guys. All right, there we go. There's my voice. For me, being a kid, I loved Hogan. And I didn't know any different, right? Everything was kayfabe back then still, too. So a lot of what we knew of Hogan growing up as a kid, he's like the Cliff Huxtable of wrestling in a way, if you think about it, right? He's just like that. He's dirty now that we know the truth, and there's so many ways to find out the truth, opposed to those days. Quite frankly, guys, I should probably be in jail, but I got away with so much as a kid, right? Just because there were no cameras, there was nothing going on. So perception was what we saw. And, I had no issues with Hogan until I got older and started to discover more and more. But, I mean, without Hogan, I don't think a lot of what we have today would exist, right? So considering what, I like to believe that I can separate people from what they do to what they are in real life. Like I like Michael Jackson's music, but I'm not sure about him in real life. Right? There's athletes that I really adore and think they're amazing in the ring, but in real life, I would question them and not, So that's my initial take, anyways.
All right.
But you can separate their career from their real life and still enjoy them.
Yeah.
As long as they're not still active. I'll throw that caveat in there.
Mike D.
I would say, like, when I started watching wrestling, I've been watching wrestling since I was like between the age of 3 and 5 years old. And the first wrestler that I knew about was Hulk Hogan. Like, that was my first action figure. I remember having the thumb wrestler, and like the piggyback what Samp said, he was like the Cliff Huxtable of pro wrestling. Only thing he didn't have was the Jello pudding, and he wasn't doing the whole Bill Cosby thing. You know what I'm saying? Like other than that, like even like with the ice cream bars, like if I got a Hulk Hogan ice cream bar, I felt like I won the lottery. Like he was that guy. And then it was just like, if you watched him, like when he went to WCW, you knew that red and yellow character was just like, it was fading away. And then for him to like transition from the red and yellow to the NWO, it revitalized his career. It might have even made his career even bigger. And like, it's unfortunate, like these last couple of years, the stuff that he did, the tape that came out, the video that came out with the racist remarks, because it messed a lot of people's childhood up that grew up watching wrestling, because Hulk Hogan was that guy. You know what I'm saying? And for me, like, I won't wear a Hulkamania shirt. And I know that Hulk Hogan and the real person are two different characters, but just for me, I would feel some type of way seeing all this stuff that he's been doing, and you know what I'm saying, backing up Agent Orange and all this other stuff. Yeah, man, I would I would feel some type of way, but I just like, I don't know. I just can't ride with Hogan like that no more, man.
I hear you, brother, man. I can't even eat a pudding pop anymore.
The only exception I have is the NWO, because even though he was in the NWO, Hall and Nash was in the NWO, and Hall and Nash were like the coolest guys in wrestling. Like,
and once you're in the NWO,
hands down,
it's for life.
Yeah.
It's easy.
But go ahead.
I drank the Kool-Aid when I was a kid. Like most people, you don't see the behind the scenes back in the 80s when he's the red and yellow hero to everybody, Hulkamania running wild. As an adult looking back and knowing who he is, it's disgusting. I can't. But yeah, like I said, like what Rob was saying, when you're a kid, you don't see that stuff. And back then, the business was a lot different. So you don't see the behind the scenes. You see the character. The character I can get behind. I can respect his body of work for what he did for the business, whether it was the golden era, whether it was the NWO. But as a person, I can't stand him.
Okay. Well, here's a question we've already saved. Mike D probably made a good case. We already know what his vote's going to be. Hollywood Hogan or Hulk Hogan? Which one is better?
Ooh.
Can I answer your question with another question?
Go for it.
Which Hollywood Hogan, pre or post NWO?
Pre.
Yeah, pre.
You see, I would have to say it's like apples and oranges, man, because the Hogan that I love was the rock and wrestling Hogan, right? and we had
sorry.
cheeky baby, love it.
Hang on. Look, don't Hulk Hogan. Rick is back. Rumble.
I put him in the camouflage.
I got to throw this in real quick. I love like footage of him like in conventions. He'd be in his little roundabout, going, "God bless you, fuck Hulk Hogan." Like that's how he greet people, like just in the aisles of conventions. Hello, God bless you, fuck Hulk Hogan, and it would just pop me every time I see something like that. But sorry, if we're just popping in with random cheeky stuff, I had to get that in.
Fair enough. But see, like I said, it's a tough one because you got the Rock and Wrestling Hogan, which was like for most kids, right? So, and then the pre-NWO, that was the best Hogan as a young adult. So it's really tough. I can't pick. I think it'd be 1A, 1B. I mean, in a way, if you think about it, both those versions of Hogan's are considered like, flipping the sport over, starting, you know what I mean? Like after the NWO, look at the transition that wrestling went into.
Mm-hmm.
When you had Rock and Wrestling Hogan, look how it, catapulted the business, right? So, I mean, same effect in two different eras, in a way.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people kind of get with all, the idiocracy that's happened the past few years. We'll get into, trust me. But Hogan, I hate to say it, did a lot for professional wrestling by doing so little, if that makes sense. It was all because, how can I say this? It was he was an attraction versus a wrestler. But him as an attraction drew money for some reason. God knows what. Maybe dumb luck. We don't know. But people were behind it until, probably about 10 years ago.
So do you think Hogan is the nowadays Titus O'Neil? Yes, you know him as a wrestler, but he's doing a lot of stuff back scene to get the wrestling product out there.
I wouldn't even say that. I don't even think he did that at all. Well, actually, I take that back because on the History of WrestleMania video I did, him and Mr. T, I think that was more Mr. T than him, helped promote the first Mania. So without that, I don't think Mania would be big as what it ended up being. Let's see what Tanner said. Tanner, Tan the man, Tan the Rat Man, Tan the Rat Tamer.
Dan Tanner, come on now.
I'm sorry. At least Hollywood Hogan was kind of cool. I think that's definitely better than pre-NWO Hogan. Yeah, well, yeah, he's got a point.
Yeah, well, I gotta agree with Mike D. The NWO heel turn revitalized his career. Mm-hmm. And I liked Hogan when he was in the beginnings of NWO, but when they started adding 30, 40, 50 people, it went downhill. And then before we got on, when him and Bischoff went to TNA, I loved Hogan in TNA.
Hi, Rusty.
I think I liked them in TNA until they did the whole, what was the name of their faction?
The Band?
That was Hall Dash and
Immortal. That's the name.
Yes, Immortal. When they did that, that's when it was just like, okay, like y'all trying to do this. Y'all trying to do like a whole NWO thing with Jeff Hardy, and it's like, come on, man, like, nah.
No, that was Jeff Harvey, not Hardy.
Because when Scott Hall and X-Pac showed up, and he goes, dude, this is different time, different place. I'm not all about that no more.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into TNA a little bit more. But yeah, I'd CZ, you're being awfully quiet up there, bro.
Honest, for me, it's flip a coin. Pre-NWO, NWO, they both made a lasting impression on the wrestling business. If I were to, gun to my head, if I had to pick one, I'd probably go with Hollywood Hogan because that's when I really got back. So, like most people I know, I took a break from wrestling and then came back during the Attitude Era. Most people my age, I hear that same story. Not all the time, but when Hogan did the turn at Bash at the Beach and really just revitalized himself, that got me interested again.
Right.
So I think I'd have to go with NWO Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, of those two.
Well, here's my next question. Let's WCW. We went over NWO. I don't know how many freaking times, but Let's cut to after the invasion angle, which honestly I think that was misbooked like crazy. But if they came in during the invasion angle as part of WCW, I think the invasion angle would have worked a little bit better.
Right.
But given how it was being booked, thank God that didn't happen. But they came back. Was No Way Out 2002. Then we ended up eventually getting the Hogan versus Rock, which is where we see kind of like the revive of the original Hulk Hogan. But we got Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I know
I was there.
you was there.
Yep.
I think the reason why they couldn't do the invasion angle because ain't that the time where all was really
All the
bad.
contracts.
Yeah. Yep.
It was all contracts, man. Everyone. That's why they all came so late.
Yeah.
Then it was too little, too late when it.
Yeah. The best thing you got out of that was Booker.
Yep.
Hey,
He's the only one who's still there.
we got Mike Awesome.
Yeah, but
He was cool for like
awesome
1 week.
for a minute.
Hey, you got Canyon.
Canyon, who better than Canyon? Hey. Hate on if people want to hate on that guy.
No, sorry. I'm Ray. Ray, I guess, in essence.
Well,
He came after. He was
Yeah,
after the
he came-
invasion.
Not that long after, though. Not like where the rest did. He was there before that, wasn't he?
no, he came
No,
in
it was over.
after NWO.
Oh, really? Okay, my bad.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
came in after the WWF changed to WWE.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, because he was running around the Indies during IWA Mid South's technical renaissance around 2004. Because him, Eddie Guerrero, and CM Punk were main eventing Storage Shed in Indiana.
Right. Okay.
God, to get the
Yeah, because the Radicals came after that as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So Radicals came in like '99.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were early on.
Never wrong. Nick Bull was never wrong. Chris Canyon had a cool run until they made him kind of have a box like Ford George, but we don't. But back to the Q.
I got one thing. Like, even if they would have waited to do a WCW angle, how would the NWO work with the invasion? If it you see what I'm saying? If they was trying to take over WCW,
Well,
they would have thrown it out the window because the invasion became the Alliance, and if anybody hated WCW more than the NWO, it was ECW.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that right there killed it. I'm sorry, because Paul Heyman. We're gonna go on this kick for a little bit. Yes, Paul Heyman preached about anti-WCW. Those guys. No, I don't want nothing to do with them. Then that happened, which I guess he was like, well, if it's good for business, pal. But no. ECW should have stayed underground for a little bit more and came out as a web series like Shane McMahon was trying to do, and that would have been a hell of a lot better for ECW. But Hogan, how I would do it, I would have Vince basically poke fun at the ex-WCW stars that he already had signed for a little bit. Then when the contracts were up, eventually, just out of the blue, one day, say SummerSlam or Survivor Series, the NWO just freaking wreaks havoc on everybody.
yeah.
And then they try to buy back WCW or take back. You know what I'm trying to say.
They should have re-signed Mike Enos for one night only, so Scott Hall could come and dump him.
You're not ready.
I'm glad they didn't buy him back. Then we wouldn't have Chuck and Billy.
What?
So Chuck Palumbo was WCW. I gotta have some opinion. Come on now.
As CZ would say, oh boy. Anyways, then after that match with Hogan, that Hogan had with Rock, he ended up getting an undisputed title run for a very short period of time by beating, Triple H.
Yeah, I think it was Triple H.
Yeah.
Why?
Nostalgia, brother.
Did he really needed that? Did he really need that? Did he really need that? No.
No, but I would argue that, I mean, the way the crowd turned for him, like, it would make sense for him to have the championship. Do I actually like the idea as a 41-year-old man? No. But what I like and what the crowd's like and liked back then, two entirely different things. Right. His crowd reaction alone probably justified at least a short reign with the championship.
And Vince probably saw a lot of money in it, right? Vince won't do anything unless it makes sense. So you have lightning in a bottle. How long is it going to last? Grab it as much as you can. Make your money. And, you know, Brock Lesnar came onto the scene that way, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's on his way out. Just give him one last hurrah and be done.
More this time we got Mr. America.
Kind of like John Cena. Give him his last hoorah before he leaves.
Well, I'm happy you brought up John Cena. We're going to compare them towards the end of this show. That's Jesus, Nick. Oh man, but yeah, he ended up getting the undisputed title, and then had the few off matches. Now his SummerSlam match with Shawn Michaels was pretty good.
Was pretty good.
It was great.
Was good. Did you watch that match?
Sean proved that you can have a match with a broomstick, man.
Exactly.
Okay. The match was good because of Shawn Michaels, but Shawn oversold the shit out of that match.
And that's what made it great. If he didn't do that, it would have been a middling match that we wouldn't have remembered at all.
All right, that's fair.
Because Shawn did what every wrestler wanted to do against Hogan, and he had the balls to do it.
That was the second greatest match of all time. First being Minoru Suzuki versus Butterbean.
What the? Well, you got to think that's whenever Hogan left, Shawn basically picked up the ball.
Oh, it's big time.
So,
and in all honesty, Joe, that match, that's one of my guilty pleasure matches because of Shawn's overselling. But the only reason he had to do that was because Hogan used his famous line that Nick brought up in the comments. That's not going to work for me, brother.
And plus, can we talk about Shawn doing his Hulk Hogan impersonation?
On CNN?
That brother. Runs the video package on Shawn Michaels. Oh, brother. Oh, man. But yeah, he had like the one, I think he had one with Randy Orton, didn't he?
He had a few, but it wasn't any good.
Can you imagine what kind of Shawn it would have been pre-Jesus Shawn?
Oh, God. That would have been brother.
There wouldn't have been a match. Shawn would have cried and whined and then hurt his back and
what the hell?
And then been beaten up by 8 different Marines and lost his smile and his big toe, and the match would have never happened.
What's the spell for no negativity from him about Shawn Michaels?
Silencio.
Well, you silenced that bad hair, dude.
I got something out of it.
Hey, hold on. With that wig on, you look like the character that Tyler Breeze played when he was a janitor. Fun
fact, I actually mangled that wig so I could be Steve Kern for Halloween one year. So if anyone questions my wrestling nerd credentials, I was Steve fucking Kern for Halloween one year. And by 1 year, I mean like within the last 3 years.
Oh, dear God, Rob. Oh, Lord. But then, eventually we got I guess, Rusty's favorite era of Hogan, the TNA Impact. What the fuck are we looking at, Hogan? What's your guys' thoughts on that? I know hell, we already said that. No one gave a shit after, the Immortal thing. So let's just...
The Joker Sting character in Hogan played really well.
Well, Joker Sting's great.
Because Sting carried it on his back?
And it just made, I think TNA because after he revitalized himself in the NWO and then went downhill, tried to pull the NWO in WWE, didn't work out, and he was on the downfall again. And then when he went to TNA with Bischoff, and then Sting turned into Joker Sting, and then with him working with Bully Ray, that I think that was good stuff.
Right. All right. Now, Mike, I know you got to head out, brother. Is there any words that you have for the Pewster?
Just want to say, fuck the Hulk Hogan.
hey, and make it great again.
But no, for real though. Check Wrestling from the 313 out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WSN. Check me out on the app. Check me out on the
OnlyFans
podcast room, and and yeah, we got a lot of cool episodes booked or whatever. So yeah, just check out for us, and appreciate you having me on, Joe.
No problem, brother. You know you got an open door here. At least you won't cause any mayhem. So, anyways, brother, good to see you. Have a good day.
Oh my!
All right, man. I'll holler at y'all.
See you, brother.
All right.
I love it when I can get a pop out of anybody. But yeah, so let's go. Like the whole fuck it. Let's just get the damn shit. Hey, look, the man who loves Hogan the most.
Why isn't Bear here going on a tirade? That's been my new favorite part of the show is when Bear just pops off because he's so nice otherwise.
Hang on. Professor Bear is actually traveling in the woods today. He's time off from being a guest, which well deserved because he's on every freaking where. But
he's stalking me now.
Yeah, he may start, may leave a message that he'll have to trace back to. I'll have CZ read it.
Bear chiming in. Can I just make a suggestion for a new show?
Yeah.
About what gives Bear the red ass? Because I just love when he goes off on tirades, and we need more of that in the world of wrestling podcasting. I'm just saying.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I've been pitching that. I mean, just the concept of bringing back the Attitude Era Jim Cornette rants for CZ to do. For the last 6 months, like CZ would get mad about something, and I'm like, dude, just do a mini pod about it. Just go on, just spout off for 5 minutes, standalone episode. Just let all the bile out.
I don't think I have that in me. I'm going to leave that up to my co-host. I've been trying to convince him to do that part.
Well, he's never wrong, so there you go.
Which is why he'd be great at doing the Jim Cornette style rants.
Nothing's wrong with a good rant.
Motherfucker.
I'll leave you guys. Jesus. I'll let you guys do the Hogan rant at the end of the show. Jesus. Who did that?
Did what?
Never mind. Anyway.
Motherfucker.
Oh, God.
Cheeseburger.
Anyways, we need to do an episode on Cornette.
Oh, absolutely.
But anyways, back to the future. I think he's the only man that can go into the Hall of Fame, say a lot of stupid crap, yet his Hall of Fame receded, then be put back.
I mean, they only took him out for lip service. They didn't want to do it.
Social protocol. Really, that's it. They didn't want to alienate anybody. And when the dust was cleared, I mean, I think WWE is the only company where you can do stuff like that, get thrown away, then they'll bring you back.
Just lie low, brother.
Certain people.
All right. Well, let's get the elephant out. Let's get the elephant out of the room. What the? Pardon my French, but I'm in a bad mood today. What the fuck is this shit with him, Eric Bischoff, and a freestyle wrestling coach starting a own professional freestyle wrestling company?
That's the next wave in wrestling, Brother Jack, dude. It's going to be bigger than the time he slammed the big smelly giant in the Silver Dome, and then the giant died like 3 days later, Brother Jack, dude.
Rob, you about to get kicked off?
Are you all right, Joe?
No, my brain just hurt.
You look like you're about to have an aneurysm. I'm just throwing that out there. Please do not do that while we're live.
This American freestyle wrestling is going to be even bigger than Val Venus versus Christopher Daniels, brothers.
Okay, so
bigger than the Nasty Boys versus the Dudley Boys, brothers.
Oh, what the fuck! All right, so I'm
out.
I'm honestly, I'm just curious to see what it's going to look like. I'm separating, like we said earlier, separating the people from their talent or from what they're doing. I'm just kind of
freaking separated.
Well, no, like, I mean, the man from the, you know what I mean, right? Like, I'm curious to see what this is going to look like. I'll be honest. I mean, just because you got, like, some guys like Ben Askren's involved in it now, I'm just curious to see what it's going to look like. I mean, it's freestyle wrestling with, like, storylines. So I want to see how they pull that off.
See, I got to Google, what is freestyle wrestling? I got to Google that. Is it amateur
wrestling? It's like Olympic style.
Amateur wrestling. Yeah, it's Olympic style wrestling, but with, like, storyline. So I'm just really curious to see what it's going to look like. That's basically all I'm tuning in for, just for the – because I got it.
Hang on, wouldn't it make more sense for Kurt Angle to be running this, except for Brother Jack Dude, racist Hogan?
No, like right off the bat, like there's literally everything. They could have done everything better and made more sense.
Ken Shamrock would have been a great one to do it with too.
I mean, any UFC castaway.
But as you see it, there'll probably be more and more coming that way then, right? If they see it as an option. So.
Hey, Rob, read that for us. What?
Breaking news. The Wizard CZ has been signed to be the exclusive ring announcer for the new Bischoff-Hogan venture.
Nice.
What's your thoughts on that?
I can tell you the first match of that. The first match is Mr. America versus El Grande Americano.
Oh, jeez.
El Grande Americano hasn't been fired yet. I mean, SmackDown isn't over yet, is it? Like, he might have gotten fired somewhere since it started because they like firing people during SmackDown. But
yeah, that's weird.
God. But seriously, what they done this really bad dubbed over NWO style promo, and then why Eric?
The third man.
Why I was starting to respect more Eric Bischoff a little bit more than what I already did. Now this, well, those brownie points were taken away. Zoop.
Yeah, but didn't you feel nostalgia when you saw that video?
No, that wasn't nostalgia. That was if you took a shit on nostalgia.
It's only nostalgia if you let it go away long enough to be nostalgic for it. Eric Bischoff is dragging out the NWO in some various form every 2 or 3 years. And so slap on a new coat of paint on it, call it Aces and Eights or Immortal or the NWO or insert whatever black and gold, red and silver.
Evolution.
I'm not going to give Bischoff credit for that because that's Triple H.
3 minute warning
over the masturbating over. The
3 minute warning was great. Okay. And
we're just
Aces and Eights is a good example when a faction should start and when it should end. It started good and it ended good. Let's just leave it at that.
Aces and Eights.
Garrett Bischoff. Need I say more?
Briscoe. Need you say more? Anywho. But yeah, like, what's your guys' expectation of this? This whole thing is just. Here we go. Easy.
The problem isn't the ideal. It's the person that they think will get the people to watch, which in any way they will, for a hot second, excuse me, but it has no way of succeeding. I would watch Vince McMahon first before Hogan.
Oh.
Okay, so he brought up BKM. There's been rumors that Vince has been trying to put a roster together. Could he be part of this?
No, dear God, no, please. So you got a racist, a sexist, and an alcoholic in a bar.
Professional wrestling in a nutshell.
Basically, yeah.
I think Hogan. I think McMahon's up to something entirely different here. I know he's doing a production company. He's been hiring a lot of his old staff, people he's worked with. So, that cohesiveness is going to be there for whatever it is. But I think he's in Saudi. He was in Saudi recently with The Undertaker. So, I mean, who knows? See what he's coming up with. But I think by the end of this year, we'll have something from Vince coming out.
I'm getting investments, damn it.
Yeah, he's been hanging out with The Undertaker a lot lately.
I'm going to throw it out there. The Undertaker is the reason we need kayfabe in this day and age.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think kayfabe would just work in the world we live in anymore, guys.
I mean, it doesn't, but
No.
anytime the Undertaker talks, man, I wish kayfabe was still alive.
Yeah.
Because now it's still a thing. We wouldn't know Hogan who the real Hulk Hogan is, and Vince McMahon probably wouldn't have been exposed. And Flair, well,
Flair's exposing himself all the time.
Literally,
But that's the beauty, right? Like
Sometimes on a plane, sometimes in a bar.
Yeah. He is who he is all the time, man. Ric Flair, Bret Hart are guys who live their gimmick 24/7.
And there's
They
one
never
person
stop living it.
who broke kayfabe, Dave Meltzer.
Levesque, Hickenbottom, the Alamo.
oh man. Well, Jesus, we just followed this episode like Hogan's career. Anyways,
we didn't even talk about him shitting on the WWF title when he won it in like '93.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Or where he compared Mick Foley to just a glorified, stuntman and a terrible one at that. Then Foley snapped back and he shut up quickly.
And then Flair said it, and they turned that into on-screen rivalry. Shot themselves into a work, brother.
Don't remind me of that SummerSlam match, please.
But hey, you gotta remember one thing about Hogan. He does what everybody else has done. You do what you got to do to make the money. He did what he had to do to make the most money.
Except answer the phone for the George Foreman grill.
That's true. That's true.
And also, let's see. Yeah, well.
And to be fair, at the time, sorry, man, at the time, just to back off here, let's see here. When Hogan was trying to make that money, it was a time when it was at the most cutthroat at the point in the industry as well.
That's probably it ain't going to work for me, brother.
Yeah.
I think with the way this episode has gone, we need to change this to what Booker T said in WCW. I'm not going to repeat it. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you.
No.
I stopped myself.
No.
The best part of that was his reaction after he said it. That was the best part of that.
Everybody's reaction. Everyone's going, "Oh, we're all fired."
And like, honey, did you really just say that? Did he just? Just keep smiling, Sherry.
Booker's face, like immediately after that, just he saw his life flash before his eyes.
But Mex can go now. By the way, this is the segment of the show where we're going to get out of Hulk Hogan for a little bit, but we're going to go one by one, try to do our true feelings towards Hogan. Rob, we'll start with you.
I just say true feelings. Without Hulk Hogan, I will say there's a good chance that professional wrestling would not have reached the heights that we've seen it today. He is totally like the right person at the right time to take the 80s boom. We got a dissenter on that one. I'm sorry, Kerry Von Erich is not the correct answer for this question. However, Hogan has done everything in his power to ruin our childhoods or our early adulthoods, or whenever we wandered into this with the rumors of him pulling the clout card backstage, to his more recent endeavors of just telling so many lies. I'm not even sure if he knows what the truth is anymore. In addition to his incident with with his porno tape and his Cheeto obsession now, and everything else.
Sam?
20th century Hogan, iconic, everything, didn't know anything. 21st century Hogan kind of exposed everything like the 21st century's exposed everyone pretty much for everything. So, it's a bitter pill to swallow, right? I mean, I have the memories of him as a child. I'll keep those. But as far as he goes to today, not one of my favorite people to really want to even talk about.
All right, Rusty?
I have to go with everybody else. The early Hogan, the movie star that really set wrestling ablaze, was awesome.
Yeah.
And then kind of dwindled down, revitalized with NWO. He went and made his money like anybody does. But I didn't hear any of the comments that people are booing about. I never heard one single thing about it. So I don't know what was said. So I can't really comment on that. But he just man that wanted to make money. And when he got booed at WrestleMania, I thought that was kind of funny. It was last year, was it? Or no, Netflix.
Yeah,
when he got
debut.
First Raw.
What are they booing him for? Then I saw the articles about what he said, but I never knew what he said. But overall, I mean, he set out and did what he wanted to do. Go make the most money he could make, and didn't matter who toes he stepped on.
All right. ZZ?
Have a lot of respect for what he did for the industry, but he's a piece of shit. Plain and simple. Drink real American beer, make America great, brother. Fuck you.
Oh. Yeah, well, CZ, yes. Oh boy, F you today. All right, have that on my.
Quick question: Have any of you guys tried that beer? I don't get it up here, so.
So, allow me to go on my little spiel here. For what Hogan did, he gave me a memory about my grandfather that I will always appreciate. And I will appreciate what he's done for the sport of professional wrestling. But Hogan, the person, Hogan, whatever supporter he wants to be this, today or tomorrow, this worst fucking beer ever because I would rather drink the worst beer possible from Norway was made by fish oil than drink that real American beer. So I gotta go with the Sheiky baby on this one, and I'm going to keep it at that. And Professor Bear has said something. I will say, as Bobby the Brain Heenan once said, I tried to tell y'all about Hogan back in the 80s. No one would listen to me because I was the 90s. Because I was a kid in the 90s. Y'all thought he was cool in the 2000s and beyond. He exposed himself, unlike Ric Flair, as a giant asshole. Wait, CZ's on a rager.
You're next, Bull.
Oh, whoa, easy. Jeez Louise.
No, I gotta keep him. I gotta keep him pleased because I don't have a co-host without him.
That is true.
The other show.
Well, that is true. But anyways, that's enough of us talking about Hogan. I'm on my third glass of whiskey and I'm pretty much plastered. But let's just say Hogan's a big piece of shit and call it an episode. Next week we're going to do something that Rusty came up with, and he's over here. That Rusty came up with. And it's going to be fun. I'm not going to spoil anything. We're going to call it Ruster's Bracket. How about that? Ruster's Bracket. We may have let's see, Rusty, we can have people on here at the same time, can't we?
Yes. So okay. I'm gonna host it, and then we got. If y'all four wouldn't want to join in, or if you can find somebody else, so that it doesn't end in a tie, you'll have somebody to do a tiebreaker. So if you have a sixth person, you have 5, so there's no tiebreaker.
So we need a 6. Who can be X-Pac for a night? That's what we're looking for. I'm looking at you, ATV. But anyway.
would say somebody with good wrestling history.
Okay, I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, I want to say thank you to our esteemed guests. Guys, go ahead and tell them where they can find you at.
All right. Well, I'm Sam Chance. You can find us on all the major platforms. We do wrestling and we do boxing. So busy weekend this weekend that we have got going here. We just finished the fights in Times Square. A bit of a shocker in the main event with Ryan Garcia losing. So we're going to talk about that as well, and a whole bunch of stuff, and SmackDown in the background now. So yeah, guys, Sam Chance, check us out.
Right.
The place you can find me is on Monday nights on the WSN Watch Along, where we've kind of transitioned into trying to invite indie wrestlers on, watch a couple of their matches, interview them, talk to them, get them out there, and just try to get indie wrestler people out there.
Okay. Robbie?
Oh, well, not doing everything I can to ruin this here roundtable. You can find me at the Confusion Wrestling Podcast. We drop every Friday, and we are the last bastion of independent wrestling. You can find independent wrestling interviews and or promotion/show reviews. This week, we not that they actually need any more promotion, but this week we're all on honorary juggalos. Checking out JCW Lunacy episode 30. A couple of friends of the show, actually, Joe Dombrowski and Mickey Knuckles, make appearances during the episode of Lunacy, not of Confusion. Though, if you go through the backlogs, you can hear my interviews with both Mickey Knuckles and Joe Dombrowski. That's wherever you can find your podcasts, and you can find me online. Usually on Blue Sky, but I still use the FKA Twitter at the Nova of Casts.
All right, and last and certainly not least, someone who wants to light a fireball under Rob's ass, the Wizard CZ.
You can find me on the Card Subject to Change podcast with my brilliant co-host, Never Wrong Nick Bull. We air most Sundays, unless there is an event going on that pushes us back a couple days, with interviews, reviews, and just general wrestling talk. You can also catch me with my other co-host, Zach Takis, every month on the last Wednesday for the Wrestling with Fitness podcast. We just dropped our 3rd episode this past Wednesday. And I'm excited. This weekend, we've got a big weekend. I get to see if Buff Bagwell remembers who I am, as well as meet the Headbangers and Lash LaRue at a local car show. So we get the privilege of having some interviews with them tomorrow. That's going to be exciting.
Give me a Lash ref while you're there.
But anyways, folks, I'm Joe Monroe, and you're not. That's all I got to say. I'm kidding. I'm not taking the Chevy Chase way out. But I know I was supposed to do an episode on Miss Elizabeth. I had to postpone because my equipment got misplaced thanks to my cat. Way to go, Oliver. But new equipment is here. I'll be recording that this weekend and have it out by Sunday. But also on Sunday, I'm going to be doing some 2K content finally. And we'll be going over some 2K stuff. So who's in the Legends roster? Well, find out Sunday. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, my esteemed guests. You guys are always amazing. The No Sell Roundtable. Thank you, Mike D, again. As always, I'm Joe Monroe, and we're by my side, the Wizard, CZ, not Rob. And you all have a great night. And if you're a big love professional wrestling and keep on supporting it, please do so. But if you're going to be a Hogan and be a troll, shut up and enjoy professional wrestling. We are out.